Imagine getting an email from ChatGPT 2 hours before every meeting telling you exactly what to say. That's just one thing ChatGPT's new task feature can do for you. The thing is, most people are using it completely wrong. I don't like gimmicks, so I'll show you instead everything you need to know about how to actually use ChatGPT Tasks the right way, so you can do something meaningful with it, like advance your career. I'll also show you how to avoid the biggest mistakes that even the pros make. You know how normally you would first go to ChatGPT and ask it to complete a task for you? Well, you don't need to anymore. With this new feature, you can simply schedule ChatGPT to automatically run specific prompts for you and get the task done without you even being online. And it will then just email you or notify you of the result. Let me first quickly show you how this feature works and what it even does. You just go on ChatGPT, be it on your phone or your laptop or whatever, and you'd click on the button where you'd get all the models, and then select ChatGPT 4o with tasks. That's it. You'd simply then just give it a prompt and a schedule to run this prompt, and it will email you when it's done at the right time. Simple as that. But then the important question is, what would you even use this for, right? So now let me tell you. Most people are using this feature completely wrong. They're using it to schedule useless crap like getting news summaries on their email or getting reminders for tasks that they could have already set in their calendar. I could just, give you a random list of ways to use this. But that might end up being very useless for you, because your work and the way you work is very unique to you. So I'm going to show you exactly how ChatGPT Tasks can help you in a way that's tailored to you, so that you can use it to advance your career. And trust me, once you see this approach, you'll be shocked at the opportunities you're missing by not using it. But of course, don't worry, I'll give you plenty of specific examples that you can use right away. But first, let me show you the dead simple 3-step system that you can use to figure out exactly where ChatGPT Tasks can help you make the biggest difference in your life and career. Well, step 1 is to ask, what's your work routine? You see, most people don't start with this question. They do it backwards. They look for random ways to use the feature and force it into their day. And that never works. Instead, the much better thing to do is to start with your specific routine, because that's how we'll find opportunities that actually fit your workflow. So, look at your calendar and ask yourself what repeats in your job. Is it weekly team meetings? Is it monthly client calls? Is it quarterly reviews? Is it annual planning sessions? Is it a specific document that you keep creating? The key is to find recurring patterns, right? Because when something is predictable and recurring, that means you can set up ChatGPT Tasks to support you on it ahead of time. If you know what's to come, then you can get support ahead of time. Now, step 2 is to ask, where do you need help? Now that you know your routine, you know the recurring tasks that you keep doing at work, the recurring meetings or events or things that you need to prepare for at work, then you can spot the things that matter within those tasks, right? The things you actually need help with. So for each recurring task, ask which ones are the most important to you? Which ones are the hardest to create or to go to or to run or to facilitate? Which documents or tasks or events can actually help you move your career forward, right? And then dive deeper within those tasks. What is it within that task that you need the most help with? What is it that you keep struggling with? You see, we're looking for bottlenecks within those tasks. So look at the most important recurring tasks and be honest with yourself. Where do you think you can usually do better than you do? Or when is it that you see others make great points and think to yourself, oh, I should have thought of that, or I could have done better? What tasks or meetings or presentations are actually the ones that will help people realize your potential, that will help people see what you're capable of? Once you identify these important recurring events and the friction points or bottlenecks within those events or tasks, then you can schedule something with ChatGPT Tasks so that it prepares for these things with you in advance. And this way you prepare for these important moments systematically every single time. Now, the final step is to ask, how can ChatGPT help me with this? Or can it even help me with this? Now that you know your routine and where exactly you need help, the final piece of the puzzle is matching ChatGPT's strengths to those things that you need. And by the way, so far, ChatGPT Tasks cannot access your emails or your personal files, but it can access the internet and, of course, its knowledge. So in this step, you need to identify exactly what it is ChatGPT can help with, even if it's not obvious at first. And there are a bunch of things that ChatGPT can do, right? It can do knowledge tasks, for example, like research and analyzing information and spotting patterns and trends. It can connect ideas, explain topics. It can also do thinking tasks, like structuring and organizing thoughts, generating frameworks, asking questions, challenging assumptions, and identifying blind spots. And it can also do communication tasks, like frame messages for impact, structure certain arguments, tell compelling stories, adapt to certain tones and styles. And it can do creative tasks, like generating new approaches, or combining ideas in fresh ways, or suggesting alternatives, or exploring possibilities. It can also do analysis tasks, like breaking down your problems, or evaluating options, or comparing approaches, or identifying criteria. So in step 3, really what you're doing is asking the question, which of ChatGPT's capabilities could I use to solve my friction, my problem? And based on that answer, you'd set up a recurring task. And I'll give you plenty of precise examples very soon. But first, let's just recap what it is you need to do. Step 1 is that you need to find your recurring event, so that when you're creating your prompt, you can set your task's schedule and timing. For example, your prompt could say, create a task to run every Friday at 2 p.m. before my 4 p.m. strategy meetings. Step 2 is to identify the friction point. Identify what it is that could be much smoother, what it is that could give you an edge, what it is that can make you stand out. And that part of the framework helps you define your task's context and goal. So for example, as part of your prompt, you would say, to help me better prepare insights for strategy discussions. And step 3 is to match what you need with ChatGPT's capability. This part of your prompt shapes your task's specific request. For example, you could say something like, by analyzing this week's industry developments and identifying strategic implications. Together, these 3 building blocks help you create your complete task prompt that tells ChatGPT exactly when, why, and how to help you. Then once you provide it your prompt, ChatGPT will work its magic and email you or notify you at the right time when it has completed the task for you. And now that you understand the system, let me make this super practical and show you examples of exactly where this can make the biggest difference in your work. And I've noticed that most things that ChatGPT Tasks can help you with usually would fall under 5 categories: planning, self-advocacy, strategizing, thought leadership, and communication. So I'm going to show you real examples of each of these, which will make this super clear for you. Up first is planning. You know when you first get to work and you look at your massive to-do list and just, well, freeze? Or worse, jump from busy work task to busy work task and not actually get anything meaningful done? Well, here's how to fix that. So step 1, the recurring event here is that every morning you're trying to figure out what to do in your day. That's the opportunity that ChatGPT Tasks can help us with. The actual problem is that, we're really terrible at choosing what matters. We end up being busy, but not doing anything meaningful. That's the problem. Now 3, how can ChatGPT help? It can perhaps email you every morning, 30 minutes before you usually start work, and help you think through your day, asking you questions that make you think about what you're actually going to do and help you prioritize them based on your bigger goals. This would help you, for example, spot high-impact work opportunities and figure out, what can wait. And make sure you're focusing on stuff that actually makes a difference for you. Over time, you get more and more strategic about how you use your time. Let me show you how to set this up.
Simply select the tasks model, then insert the prompt that you constructed using our system. By the way, you can get the prompts I'm using completely free, link in description. Then the task will be created for you and it will email you at the right time. You click the button in the email and be redirected, and there you'll see it has already done your task for you. All that's left is for you to interact with it to either complete or refine the output it gave you, just as you would if you were prompting it normally. And you'd only do that if necessary. In this case, it's necessary because it needs our input to know what to prioritize.
Now, let me show you another example, this time for self-advocacy. A lot of people really struggle with this, by the way. Think about your last performance review. How much time did you waste trying to remember for the life of you what it is you actually did the last 6 months or 12 months? Most of us default to whatever it is we can remember. And so naturally, we sell ourselves quite short because we miss capturing months of valuable contributions. So ChatGPT Tasks can help you periodically keep track of your achievements and not forget them where they'll be lost in the void, right? Step 1, identify the recurring event, which is the performance review. Let's say it occurs every 6 months. But to stay on track, we need to prepare for it every week or every 2 weeks or even every month. Step 2, what's the problem we're solving? Well, it's that we always forget what it is that we actually achieve. And we're not able to then sell the impact of our work. Step 3, how can ChatGPT help us with this? What task can we give it? Well, we can have it check in with us every Friday and ask us easy to answer questions about what it is that we accomplished this week, what it is that we contributed this week. Once you tell ChatGPT what it is that you did, it can then reframe it to show your impact more vividly. And then come performance review time, you have tens of entries about how valuable your work has been the last 6 months or the last 12 months or whatever. The cool thing too is that you can use this beyond performance reviews. You can use this when you speak up in meetings. You can use this to sell yourself, right? To drop these things subtly when you speak to your manager, for example. Let me show you how to set this up.
As always, switch to the tasks model. Input the prompt based on our system, click on the email once you receive it, and click the view message button within the email, and then it will redirect you to ChatGPT where it has already completed your task for you. So in this case, it's asking you a question about what your key achievements were this week. You would then obviously need to provide it with your input, and then you can either continue to interact with it or leave it at that. By the way, you can get the prompts I'm using completely free.
All right, now let's go through our third example, strategizing. And if you use this, you can really stand out. Let's say you have recurring strategy meetings. Maybe it's those Friday 4 p.m. sessions where your team discusses project direction, or even Monday planning meetings, right? Instead of rushing to prepare like 5 minutes before, you can set up systematic support from ChatGPT that makes you look super thoughtful with almost no work on your part. So, step 1, identify the recurring event. Let's say it's a planning meeting. Step 2, what's the problem? Well, I don't prepare enough for these meetings, or I don't really shine. Most people contribute and I just like sit there in the background and I blend in. I can do better. So step 3, how can ChatGPT actually help me with this? Well, it can, for example, dig into industry news and spot patterns or analyze a trend and then give me an insight to share in that meeting, or give me clever questions that I can ask in the meeting so that I can facilitate better, or so that I can collaborate better. And all this just happens behind the scenes. You set it up once and you get ready insights or ready questions for your meeting every single time. So every single time you can consistently contribute meaningfully. Let me show you exactly how to set this up.
Again, you'll switch to the tasks model, input the prompt based on our 3-step system. ChatGPT will create the task and notify you or email you at the scheduled time. You would then open the email or the notification and be redirected to ChatGPT, where it has completed your task for you. And here we're going to learn about one of the biggest mistakes to make sure you avoid when you use ChatGPT Tasks. You see here, it didn't actually provide me with the insights that I asked it to. It just basically outlined the task for me. It's telling me what to do. It didn't do it itself. And obviously that's not what I want. So the problem here is that within the instructions of the task, something was inaccurate. It says, tell me to analyze. So that's what it's doing. That's how it interpreted the prompt that we provided it with. So what we need to do is remove the tell me part from the instructions and keep the word analyze instead. We can then also read through the remainder of the instructions and make sure there's nothing else that's wonky. By the way, from that same screen, you can also change the schedule of your task. You can schedule tasks daily, weekly, monthly, annually, or even have them follow a custom schedule. You can even schedule tasks that don't repeat. And by the way, since we're taking a little look at the features, you can also see all your tasks in one place by clicking on your photo and clicking on tasks. And there you'll find them all displayed. From that screen, you'll be able to edit any of your tasks or even delete them. By the way, you can only have 10 scheduled tasks at any given time. Maybe you want to use that real estate wisely. Now let's go back to our example and redo it the right way this time. Again, we'd switch the model, input the prompt, wait for ChatGPT to create the task and schedule it. By the way, you can get the prompts I'm using completely free, link in description. And then because we're wiser this time, we're gonna edit it straight away. As you can see, it's defaulting to being lazy and adding that tell me phrase to the beginning to try and get away with not doing the task. Now this time when we get the email and get redirected to ChatGPT, we can see that it's created the task the right way this time.
And now, for example number 4, on thought leadership. Honestly, it's never been easier to be called the smartest one in your organization. And it's even easier now that you have ChatGPT Tasks. So how do you do this? Step 1, find the recurring event. Let's say the recurring event is that you want to consistently be someone who is insightful. That is the recurring thing. The recurring thing is that you want to contribute insightfully on a regular basis. Step 2, what's the problem? Well, you simply don't have time to read Harvard Business Review or MIT Sloan or McKinsey reports. And even if you did, you definitely don't have time to sit there and connect all these ideas together into one cohesive thing and turn all these ideas into something that is relevant to your organization and the work that you do day to day. That's the hardest part, but not anymore. Because step 3, asking what ChatGPT can actually help with, is that you can set up a task that automatically analyzes the articles from Harvard Business Review over, let's say, the last 2 weeks that are relevant to your industry and give you fresh insights that are most relevant to you and your job. And then, of course, now you can regularly drop these insights with the people that you speak to, in your interactions with your manager, in your emails, in your reports, in your presentations, right? Like you'll always have these fresh insights that are ready for you. Every 2 weeks, sent to your inbox, sent in a notification. You don't have to keep asking ChatGPT to do it for you. It just does it and it's ready and it's there for you. And here's how to set it up.
So we switch the model, input the prompt, wait for it to schedule the task, edit the instructions to make sure they're accurate, and finally get redirected to ChatGPT once we get the notification or email.
And our last example is about communication, specifically team updates. Let's say step 1, your recurring event is that every week you have to send a team update about some project that you're working on. So step 2, what the actual problem is, you simply can't be bothered to keep writing these emails. Step 3, how can ChatGPT help you? You can simply set up a task where it asks you a few questions, you give it easy answers, and it writes the email out for you. So every, let's say, Friday at the end of the day, it would send you a notification. It's time to answer my 3 questions about your weekly updates. You give it like really brief, badly written answers, and then it just formulates the email for you. And you can just keep doing that every week. Very, very simple and no nonsense, right? Let me show you how to set it up.
So you switch the model, input the prompt based on the 3-step system, wait for it to schedule the task, edit as necessary. Then once we get the notification at the end of our week, we get redirected and we see that Chat has prepared questions for us to answer so that it can draft our email. We answer the questions, and because it didn't properly write an email out of our input, we have to tell it to do its job properly and then go back and edit the task's core instructions so that next week it doesn't make the same mistake. By the way, you can get the prompts I'm using completely free, link in description.
Now, do you see how having a system to figure out how to use ChatGPT Tasks makes using it much more useful, relevant, and meaningful? Instead of getting like random messages about random things that you don't actually do, you'll use it instead to make your actual workflow easier and enhance the moments that matter to you, not just be a gimmick that is wasting your time. Generally, when it comes to AI, the difference between the average AI user and the pro isn't that they're using a better prompt. No, it's that they know how to think about using the AI. They have a system for using it. And that's exactly what you learned today. That's exactly what will separate you from the person who gets real value from AI, from the person that just gets frustrated when they use AI, or their time is wasted by using AI. And like I said, if you want all the prompts that we covered today, they're all yours for free. But if you want to go deeper and master having a systematic approach to AI across every aspect of your work, whether it's creating presentations or brainstorming or writing or whatever it may be, I show you exactly how to do that in the AI at Work Accelerator. And I don't only go through ChatGPT, I go through 7 of the most powerful tools that have free versions, by the way, that will make a difference across your entire workday. I show you exactly how to use them and in what sequence. And the cool part is you only need like a few hours to be a pro. And even better, you can get it for probably less than the cost of takeout. And you'll benefit from it for probably years to come. And hopefully, secure a promotion or a raise. That's what I want for you. I want you to do meaningful work and be compensated for it. Drop a comment if you have any questions at all about ChatGPT Tasks or anything else that you'd want me to make a video about. And hit subscribe to get more advanced but easy AI strategies that actually work. And also so that I can grow and help more people. Thank you so much.